Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Lagged Out Podcast. And yes, we did skip a week because I was out of town, but I hope all of you are doing well. On this episode, we're going to talk about the Elder Scrolls Online, actually, and should the Elder Scrolls Online have a card game? We haven't really talked about Elder Scrolls on here, but I think this would be an interesting topic because it's going to be a very interesting topic for this whole year. But Joe, what is up? How was your week vacation that I gave you? No, I'm just kidding. But how was your week vacation?
It was horrible. I had to spend one whole day with you
that is
out
true.
in the woods. And I got like leaves and stuff all over me. It sucked. And that out of context sounds really inappropriate.
I got bit, dude, by a bug.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I've had this like mosquito bite on my leg. It's weird.
Nice.
But
yeah, I'm an idiot. So like the towel cloak thing that I brought it inside and I forgot to shake it off when like before bringing it inside or back inside, I guess, to put it away. Mm-hmm. Or not to put it away, to put it in the hamper to clean because it was all dirty. So I shook it off in my bathroom. And like just leaves and like dirt just all on the floor. I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. I should have done this outside.
Nice.
So I had to clean all that up.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fine though.
That's good. Whatever. That's good. Well, today we're gonna talk about ESO. I got to play ESO on a private server for about a week early. I got to test the card game out.
Yeah. The new card game expansion.
Yes.
DLC MMORPG.
Right, and it's called Tales of Tribute. And to say the least, it's not been well received. Like to the, I guess, vocal, we could say majority. I guess I don't know if it's a minority or a majority now, but there's been a lot of pushback for it. A lot of people don't really understand why it's in the game because it's an MMO. They don't want to play an MMO because of a card game. It brings up a lot of actually really interesting conversations that we may get into today, but I kind of just wanted to start off and ask you, from someone, you don't know a ton about it, but like from someone who doesn't really play ESO, like, do you, like, as a master duelist yourself, Joe, what do you think of ESO adding a card game? Do you think it's dumb? Like, do you think it's weird? Or like, what do you think about it?
I mean, The Witcher had one and people seem to like that, but I think the reason why people are upset, or at least, the vocal majority or whatever are upset, is because that's like the main thing for this expansion. Whereas they wanted like a new class or a new, something else, like maybe a new weapon or something. Whereas it's like, oh, hey, here's a new, like a yearly, like big expansion. You get a card game. And it's like, that doesn't really change the game at all. It just adds like something new you can do. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why people are upset. That's not to say they won't enjoy the card game, even if they've never played a card game before. Because I'm sure there's plenty of people who played Gwent in Witcher 3 and freaking loved it, even if they never played like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic the Gathering or any other card game besides like Go Fish or something.
Right.
So to me, and I haven't like looked up any comments or whatever because I don't play and I don't really care, but I think that's probably why people are upsetty spaghetti over it. Just because it doesn't add anything new to the game that directly impacts the game or impacts them or the way they play the game. It's just like a new thing to do and a new way to like maybe get like a mount or cosmetics or whatever, which could still be cool, but yeah, it's not what they were looking for.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely see that side of things. That is, I think, why people were upset. It's kind of a double-edged sword though, because some people are, I mean, you're never going to please everyone, but some people want there to be all these fixes for the game, which I do too. And they've said clearly in posts that they're working on the fixes, but they can't really, they're kind of limited on what they can add to the game. They made a post about like last gen consoles, like holding them back, being able to do like new animations, being able to do all kinds of new things. So like they're probably not going to make a new class, because if they make a new class, they're going to have to make new animations.
By
right?
last gen, you mean like PS4, Xbox One?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so that's something they said, is that like it really limits them when it comes to certain things. And they already said that they weren't going to update PvP until they fix the server, which they're apparently working on now. It's just going to take time. So I think they did this in a way because it was going to be less resources on the server, and it's not something crazy that's, you know, going to maybe bog it down. But I definitely see people's point on it of why they're not excited. I guess the thing that really surprised me, though, is that, like, there's a ton of people that play ESO that I think like The Witcher, that play The Witcher. Like, there's a lot of crossover there. I guess I was just surprised at how many people just like, and I've met actually a good bit of people too that have liked Magic the Gathering, that play ESO, because it's like an older crowd. It's not like, you know, it's not really like 16-year-olds really playing the game, but like, I guess I was just surprised that people weren't that excited about it. Like, I thought more people would like a card game. And I get, like, some people do like card games, they just don't want it in an MMO. But for me, I was like, man, this is the most excited I've been about ESO for years, because I love card games and it gives me something else to do in the game. But I've also done a lot of the stuff in the game, so I'm kind of done with it, if that makes sense. Like, I've kind of completed everything I want to complete. So for me, that was the thing that really surprised me, I guess. But again, I don't really know if it's a vocal majority or a minority. Like, I don't really know, because I really feel like they had to do a lot of research to implement something like this. Like, they weren't just like, oh, let's just throw a card game in. Like, no, like, they probably had to look up and do data research on, like, all right, are people gonna like this? And maybe the majority of people will, you know, I don't know. But
I think, like, people, you know, who play it will enjoy it. It's just they're presenting it as like the main thing of this big expansion. Yeah. If it was like its own like little like small DLC package thing, people would be like, oh yeah, sure, why not? But it's the main thing of like the next big expansion for ESO, which is why people are upset as spaghetti. If they wanted like a new class, which they can't really do because of PvP, or a new weapon, can't do that because of PvP. So it's like, I feel like a lot of what they probably wanted to do and a lot of what people wanted from them, they couldn't do because of the whole, like, we gotta like balance and fix PvP before we can like update everything else and stuff.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. The interesting part is that, like, they're upset that there's nothing being added, I guess, to the end game, but it's like they're adding mythic items just like last patch that are going to add to the end game. They have a trial. I think people just may have forgotten that that's still in the expansion, but because it's been kind of overshadowed with this disappointment. Because like companions, in my opinion, didn't really add anything to in game, and I don't know if you know anything about those, but that, like, last year, that didn't really add anything. Like, you're not going to take a companion into a trial. Like, and I'm talking about the really high in-game stuff. Like, obviously you can do dungeons with them, but personally, yeah, I get where they're coming from. But my next question I was going to ask you is, well, this is a deck builder, so it's not a TCG. So you don't, like, you collect cards, but it's limited. It's not like thousands of cards. So do you think it's better that it's a deck builder, or do you think it should be a TCG? Like, in a game like this, where it's not free, so like you have to have the expansion to play the deck or the game. What do you think about that?
Probably deck builder, partially because you have to own the expansion, or like ESO Plus.
PSO Plus.
You probably need PS Plus if you want to play on PlayStation.
That is true. You do double whammy.
Yeah, dude, double plus. Or
is it like $20 a month? Dang. We don't have to have ESO Plus to play ESO, actually. So I mean,
right? Yeah, you could also just buy the expansion.
Right.
So that is one thing, because that way it's like, you know, yeah. I mean, I guess it also depends. Like, I don't know how much you can reveal or whatever, but like,
I can reveal anything now.
Do you get like a starter deck or anything? I think you said
there's
like
4
that, right,
patron starter decks, and there's 4 more you can collect throughout questing, throughout the map, throughout the world.
Do you start with all 4 or just one of them?
You start with all 4.
Okay.
Because you pick, the way the game works is each person picks one, or first person picks a deck to add. You pick 2, they pick the other one.
Right. So then, my other question would be, so you said like you get other decks from quests, but can you also get like individual cards?
Yeah. Like, you unlock the decks, I think, and then you get the cards from doing the quest line, killing, like winning, like getting upgrade fragments to upgrade other cards. You get those drops from world bosses. You get them throughout doing stuff in the game.
So you can get full decks, but also individual cards.
Well, you can get the individual cards that make full decks. You just start with a skeleton 4 patron starter decks. So like the 4 decks you start with, they're not every single card in that deck yet. You have like you have probably I think like 10 out of 20. So you can still collect other cards for that deck, but you get the skeleton of it and it gets you started. And then there's 4 other decks that
you can also collect
the cards for, yeah. That go into the deck, because the deck building is part of the game, like in the game.
Right.
So you don't bring a deck. Like, you technically bring a deck, but like the way they balance it is whatever decks are picked are the decks that get put into the middle pile to where you can buy cards for each other, if that makes sense.
Right.
It balances it out.
Yeah, I think in that case, having it as a deck builder works better than a TCG, unless like they made the TCG like really accessible.
Right.
Where it's like you can like, just spend, just gold on card packs at a shop or something, or like, as you play, maybe like every like certain number of wins you get like a card pack for free or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, the way you described it with how you get like sort of like starter decks, you can add more cards to it to make it better, is probably better. Just because that way, like, you at least have something to go with right away. You don't have to like sift through like 5 packs just to hopefully get enough cards to make one deck.
Right.
When you need like 2 minimum to play the game, it sounds like. So, yeah, I guess deck builder. I've never really played deck builder card games before. I've only ever played like TCG ones.
Wait, if you play Dice Monsters or Dice Masters,
oh yeah, I guess that's
technically a deck builder.
Technically, that's like dice too. It's like,
but like, yeah, but it's a similar thing though.
Yeah.
No, but that's a good point.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say I do think it'd be cool if they did have like a TCG element to it, just because like people love to freaking open card packs. Like it's addicting, and like like the other night, like you, me, and Sean were on Master Duel. It's like, hey, I'm opening this pack. It's like, oh, hey, stream it for us so we can watch.
Yeah.
Get that freaking that high, of watching you open packs. Like, oh, ultra rare. Oh, let's go. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like.
I mean, that's the danger with that though, and I think I would love for it to be TCG. If it was like a full-fledged out TCG, like within a MMO, that would be so sick. Like, I mean, that would just be like, I mean, think about it. If they made like a Yu-Gi-Oh RPG TCG, like Duels of the Roses again, that would be freaking awesome. Like, but the thing is a TCG takes a lot more balancing, and then you get into all these other issues with the economy and stuff. And that's where I think they did. I mean, I think they played it safe with the deck builder, because with the deck builder, they've already said it's not pay to win. You have to earn your cards. You don't get them in the shop. Like with TCGs, I mean, they could have done a TCG and just done like, people could spend crowns to get packs, and that would have been a disaster, I think. Like, because I mean, maybe not a disaster for them financially, but I just think a lot of people would have lost a lot of respect for them, like, because it's a paid game, it's not free, and all the TCGs out there, MTG Arena free, Master Duel free, Hearthstone free, like, you obviously can spend money, but it's very easily accessible, like you said, and I just think that would have been really hard to do. So
yeah, and I'm trying to think like if there's a way they could incorporate a TCG element of like opening packs into like the deck builder, but I don't think you could without breaking the balance of it.
Yeah, it would be tough.
Because you said like you get other cards from doing quests and stuff, so it's like,
and winning and stuff too.
Why would I spend like 4 hours questing to get like 2 cards or whatever when I could just drop $10 or something and have it instantly day one?
Right.
So yeah, I don't know.
They did say that the director said that their goal is to get the game as good as they can get it and working well, but then if it's successful, they'll obviously keep adding to it, and they might explore other options of like, making a physical element for it, like a physical card game, like making foils in the game, or adding certain modes like spectating mode and all this other stuff, right? But they said that like it's really their important first task is really just making sure it works well, which it does.
I think one thing they could do, which Master Duel does, is having cosmetics So it's like you can have different like card backings, like card sleeves, different like play mats or play areas or whatever.
Right.
You know, you have like little buddies in Master Duel. You could have something like that. Maybe, I don't know.
No, that's definitely an option I could see them doing. I am
Like, that's
surprised that there's not that already.
Yeah, that's something they could do for like the Crown Store just to make some money off of it.
Yeah. Oh gosh, you shouldn't give them ideas, Joe. Stop. Don't make it.
I mean, I know you're gonna spend money on it if they do anyways.
I haven't spent any money in Master Duel.
No, but if it's ESO, you probably will.
I don't know, dude. Honestly, like, there's actually a lot of earnable things from the game they've said, and I've seen it. Like, so you can earn cosmetics from the game, which is cool. But that would be cool. I just don't think they're gonna do that yet. And I'm sure they've thought about that. Like, they probably want to monetize it heavily because, like, it's a freaking card game.
It's a card game, yeah.
But yeah, so I just think that it would have been bad if they did that from the start. But
yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any way to have like a card pack type thing where it's still balanced. I don't know.
It would have to be way more cards. Like, it'd have to be way more cards. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because there's only about like 20 plus cards in each patron deck. So like, and like, you wouldn't have that many cards to collect. So it'd have to be a lot more cards.
I don't know. Maybe it's something they could do later when they have like, if it's successful and if they have like more and more cards to add.
Yeah, maybe.
But at the same time, it's like, well, if you open a card pack and you get a card, but you also get this card from doing, you know, helping, you know, Mrs. Smith collect her apples or something. Like, then, like, can you still do that quest? Like, do you miss out on that XP? Like, I don't know. I was also thinking maybe like, oh, you can open like one pack a day or something. You can spend like gold, you know, just from like doing quests or whatever on one pack per day or something. So that way it's like you're not getting a huge advantage day one, but you still might get lucky enough to get some really good cards or whatever.
Interesting. Okay.
But you also mentioned how there's what, 8 decks total and only like 20 cards per deck. So
roughly, yeah.
Yeah. So that's only like freaking 160 cards. So like, how big would that pack be? Like, I feel like it wouldn't be like 8
pack
cards.
Of 2.
Like, it'd be like a pack of like 3 or 4. It's like, is it worth it? You know?
I don't think they were gonna do that.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's funny, dude. I want to host a Battle City tournament in ESO in the house because you can duel in the houses, and I want to build a blimp in my house and duel on top of the blimp. But the problem is there's no spectate mode right now, so I'd have to, like, if I wanted to stream it, like, I'd love to do like a shoutcast stream of it, like, you know, like Battle City.
You want to be able to see other people's, basically.
Yeah, you can't really do it unless like it'd be other streamers or something. But like, if they add a spectate mode, I am totally hosting the first ever Battle City tournament, and I'm gonna make people have to submit locator cards. Yeah,
they should definitely add that. I feel like that would at least help drive interest in it.
They said they don't have it yet, but again, it's something that like it's just that's not their main focus, I guess, yet. Obviously,
I feel like they definitely should add it though, like ASAP. Just because like that gives way to, like you said, like tournaments and stuff, and that'll help drive interest in it and drive, you know, more people to play it, and then more people playing it, more successful it is, more success it has, more things you can do with it and stuff. Because like you could technically like stream it, like it's like, okay, like you're dueling, so it's like, all right, you just stream your screen,
right?
And like the next 2 people duel, you just have one of them stream in Discord or something. But then it's like you run into the issue of like, what if the other person is stream sniping? So it's like they see exactly what their opponent has in hand.
Right.
So it's like there's no way to like really do that. I don't know.
Right. No, that makes sense. I don't know. It'll be interesting though, because again, I'm interested to see if people, like, I am so excited to test this. Like, I'm gonna, like, on Monday on the PTS, I'm just gonna be freaking playing the card. I'm gonna be playing the card game more than the game. I mean, that's honestly, like, it's rekindled my card game love. Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna do. I'm excited for it. It's really fun. And I've had a lot of fun playing it, like, just from the time I've gotten to play on the test, like the preview server. The games are really, really interesting. It doesn't look interesting when you first don't know how to play, but it's I don't know, it's fun to me. But Yeah, I mean, why do you enjoy card games, Joe?
Because it's like a battle, like not really action, I guess, but I mean, I guess it could be kind of actiony. It's like a battle / action type of game, but it's all about like strategy. It's not just like, you know, you're mashing a button and like, you know, doing punch, kick or whatever.
Right.
And, you know, there's strategy even before you even play the game. You know, there's building your deck to have like certain combos or certain cards to counter certain combos or whatever. So it's like, that's why I enjoy card games for the most part. It sucks when like, you know, the game itself kind of F's you over. Like, oh, let me just draw a totally brick hand basically. And like, there's nothing you can do about it. Or it's just like, you know, it's RNG against who you get matched up. Like, oh, like my opponent has like they have a 60 card deck and there's only one card in their whole deck that could stop me. And they have the one effing card in their hand that stops you. And it's like, well, I guess I lose now, you know?
Right.
But it's like, I mean, aside from that though, like I enjoy them just cause like it's strategy. It's like somewhat like, you know, battle oriented, but like, it's not just like there's always strategy involved. Basically. You can't just like play whatever the heck you want and expect to win. And I do like that, especially like when you outplay your opponent. I think that's really fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's mainly why I like card games.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's for the most part me as well. I think it's also just a nostalgia thing too, you know? So yeah. What?
Yeah. I've never had the grand, like epic moments of like Yu-Gi-Oh though, where it's like,
what do you mean?
Know, like at least like IRL, where it's like, gotta like draw the one card that can like save me for this turn or whatever, prevent me from going to the Shadow Realm, and like you draw it and like all your friends like go crazy and stuff like or whatever.
Well, I mean that like only happens in the freaking in the show because they just break the rules.
Well, I mean like
in
not
a way.
all the time though. Kind of, at least earlier shows for sure, but that's because like the card game didn't know what the heck it was doing.
That's true.
But I mean it still has like, you still have moments too where it's just like there's only one card in my deck that can save me, and you draw it and it's like, oh frick, let's go.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah, I do remember there was one time when probably in middle school, I don't remember exactly how old I was, but I went to my friend's house and I brought my cards with me and we dueled, and he was winning like the entire time. But I had a magic card on the field called Toll. And basically Toll is every time you want to attack, you have to pay 500 life points. And so even though I was behind like the whole duel and stuff, he kept attacking and had to pay life points. And eventually it got down to like the last turn. I don't remember how many life points he had, but I guess I did something to lower his life points just enough to where when he attacked, he had to pay life points, and I put him below 500. So he attacked and like he like destroyed me basically, but he also had to pay 500 life points, and it was a tie. Which was interesting. Yeah. So I was like, I remember that one like kind of fondly, just because like I was behind the whole time and Toll freaking saved me.
Oh my gosh! I think I remember hearing about that in the documentary for what is it? Yu-Gi-Oh meta. That's interesting.
I believe that.
I hope the ESO card game does well. I do hope that it's something that people will enjoy because it's fun. I had a lot of fun, but I don't know. This year's going to be really interesting because it's there hasn't been a lot of excitement for it. Maybe it'll bring a lot of people. I don't know. But if it doesn't do well, then it's going to be a tough year for ESO for sure. But yeah, I mean, any final thoughts, Joe, before we close out?
I think the way they shape the cards is kind of weird. I'll be honest. It's like a weird
like diamond
hexagon.
Things. Oh,
yeah, it's like a diamond shaped type hexagon thing. It's a little strange, but I guess it stands out.
It does. It's unique for sure.
Thing.
I mean,
they look too bulky though too. They're like freaking like this big.
Well, it's supposed to
like,
be played in a tavern. That's kind of like the lore behind it. So,
but like, why do they have to be like ginormous? Like, you could play like Go Fish in a bar, and you're not gonna be playing with freaking like ginormous playing.
I mean, that's true. I don't know. I'm not into the Go Fish meta, but
it's just a.
So,
dude, Go Fish meta. Okay, last question. Do you play Go Fish? When you play Go Fish, do you do it so it's 3 of a kind or 4 of a kind that you get to put it down?
Joe, I can't even remember the rules of Go Fish, honestly. Like, I haven't played Go Fish since I was like -4 years old.
Bro, the rules are simple. You have like your 5 starting cards, your hand, right? You have the rest of the cards in like a pile, or like I always like spread them out in like a row. And then you take turns basically. So it's like, do you have a 3 in your hand or any 3s in your hand? Then you would say, yes, I do. And you hand me all your 3s, or you say, no, I don't.
That's
if you
right.
don't have any, go fish. And then I have to draw one from the pile. And then from that point, that's where like all the rules like get like customizable, because you can say, if you draw a 3, you can be like, got what I wanted, and you get to go again. Be like, do you have any like 4s or something? Or you could play it so it's just like, all right, I drew, whether or not I get my card, whatever. Now it's your turn. And then the other thing is like, the rule is if you have 3 of a kind or 4 of a kind, you could put down your cards. That's how you get points. Or you play it to where it's only 4 of a kind, which means you have to have all 4 in your hand before you can put them down. But then if you do the 3 of a kind one, and like, let's say I have 3 3s, and then you draw the 4th 3 from the middle pile, you could then put that down on your side just for like 5 extra points or something like that.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of different rules in the Go Fish meta. I'll teach you about it like next time you come visit or something. But yeah,
I'm exhilarated. Well, I appreciate everyone coming and watching today. Leave me a comment down below. Leave us a comment down below what you think about the ESO card game if you play ESO. If you don't, just leave us a comment and tell us how attractive we are. But
just leave Adam your comments. I don't want them.
Yeah, just leave me your comments. But make sure to check us out on Spotify and iTunes and our social media as well. The links are down below in the description. But yeah, just remember to have faith, be great, y'all. And I will see you, me and Joe will see you on the next podcast.